Hello, my name is Stacia, and welcome to my little corner of the internet where I just like to talk about movies. And this week's movie is going to be the 1952 musical Singin' in the Rain. I think Singin' in the Rain is one of the quintessential musicals and even movies that you have to see if you are a film fan. And I know a lot of younger people don't like older movies, but I have never heard of a young person watching this movie and hating it. I think they're more likely to come away charmed on that. From what I have seen, younger people actually come out loving this movie, and it's not exactly what they expected it to be out of a 1950s musical. I guess when I was growing up, it's hard to believe that people don't know what Singin' in the Rain is. It seems like for my generation, we were aware of older, stars and everything like that. And then people born after 1990 seem like they have never heard of anything that happened before they were alive. But it just seemed like in the past we were aware of things that happened before us, or maybe I'm just a cranky old person, or maybe we had the advantage of a lot of these stars were still alive when I was a kid, but past their heyday. You got four main stars in this movie. They are Gene Kelly, who plays Don Lockwood, Donald O'Connor, who plays Cosmo Brown, Debbie Reynolds, who plays Kathy Sheldon. She is not just Carrie Fisher's mother. Get to know your Debbie Reynolds movie as well. And then there is Jean Hagen as Lena Lamont. The main director of this movie is Stanley Donen, who also directed things like Charade and Funny Face. He also did Seven Brides for Seven Brothers. But there is also another director, Gene Kelly, which was common in musicals. Gene Kelly directed basically the dance parts. There's a big dance number in the middle of this movie that was, by and large, directed by Gene Kelly. Which, like I said, completely normal for that time and in musicals where one director directed the regular parts and the other director directed the musical parts, and oftentimes it was the choreographer. But besides the main four stars of this movie, you also have Millard Mitchell as R.F. Simpson. You have Douglas Foley as Roscoe Dexter. You also have Cyd Charisse as one of the dancers, and Rita Moreno is also in this, albeit a small part. She plays Zelda Zanders. As for the plot for Singin' in the Rain, it starts in the 1920s. It is about the transition between silent films going to sound films, and that bumpy transition, all in a musical setting with romance thrown in there. And it is quite a look at that transition. They handle it very well, and with lots of humor of that transition of what happened to some of those silent film stars when sound came around and people heard their voices, and their voices weren't pleasant to everybody's ears. And this movie is about some of the ways they went about hiding some of the more unpleasant speakers during that transition. And like I said, also a romance and song and dance thrown in there for good measure. Singin' in the Rain was nominated for 2 Oscars at the 25th Academy Awards, or the 1953 Academy Awards, if you want to know the year that the Academy Awards was held in. They were for Best Supporting Actress for Jean Hagen and Music Scoring of a Musical Picture. And it's kind of hard to believe, especially for the music scoring of a musical picture, it didn't win. And it's hard to believe that it actually didn't get nominated for more Academy Awards than that because of the enduring legacy of this movie. But the Academy Awards, if nothing else, are a snapshot in time of what the Academy itself were thinking of the motion pictures. and kind of has a bias towards what they think is important in motion pictures. Not knocking the Academy Awards. I watch it every year, and at least the Academy Awards lets the film community strive for better pictures for competition, even though sometimes it just doesn't get it right. And the winner of Best Picture that year was actually The Greatest Show on Earth, and it's one of my least favorite Academy Award winners for Best Picture. But speaking to its enduring legacy, in 1989, when the National Film Registry started, it was one of the first 25 films inducted into the National Film Registry because of its cultural, aesthetic, and artistic merit. And is The Greatest Show on Earth in there? No, it's not. But if you have never seen Singing in the Rain, first off, it's weird that nobody's there. There are people that have never seen Singing in the Rain, but hey, it's time for you to catch up. It is a great movie. You'll be charmed by the story. I think you'll even think it's clever, even for these times. The songs are great. The dance numbers are terrific. Gene Kelly is the dance legend he is. Debbie Reynolds, who was only like 19 or 20 when she did this movie, is just adorable. I mean, you can't go wrong with Singing in the Rain. And not to mention the color story in this film, meaning all of the colors that it uses are just phenomenal. It's stage direction exquisite. There is nothing not to like about this movie. And I know what you're saying. A lot of people don't like musicals. And by and large, I am one of those people. But I'll watch any type of movie. I think all types of movies have the potential to be great, and you shouldn't limit yourself to just certain types of movies because you're like, I'm not a musical person. Because you will find movies like Singing in the Rain, and it's one of the greatest movies ever made, and you shouldn't miss it just because you're not a musical person. And it was not a spectacular hit when it was first released. It was only a modest hit, which probably plays into the fact that the Academy Awards, especially in that time, because it wasn't a huge hit and only a modest hit, that it didn't get nominated for a slew of awards. Which is kind of the opposite. Nowadays, it seems like the small films get all of the awards nominations and the big films are reduced to fewer nominations, if any at all. But it is one of those movies that after years passed, especially with the availability in the video market and showing on TV, it became one of the best loved movies of all time, and it's on several lists of the best movies of all time, near the top of them, especially if you're just ranking movie musicals. And who has not at least heard the song Singing in the Rain, or familiar with the image of Gene Kelly in the rain dancing, going up on the light pole with the umbrella in his hand? Who is not familiar with at least that image? And also the song Good Morning. Good morning, good morning. Who hasn't heard that at least? And I'm sorry to disturb you with my bad singing. Not to mention, the song Make 'Em Laugh. There's just a lot of classic within this classic movie. And a little bit of trivia for you is that Gene Kelly is from Pittsburgh, and when their baseball team, the Pittsburgh Pirates, have a rain delay, they play the Singing in the Rain music number from the movie on the Jumbotron there. And there are just tons and tons of movies that reference this movie also. I mean, part of the look of La La Land was inspired by Singing in the Rain. Part of it is an inspiration for Jennifer Lawrence character's dance in Silver Linings Playbook. Just countless things in culture, especially U.S. culture, reference or are inspired by the movie Singing in the Rain. So that alone should give it a place on your watch list. But again, my name is Stacia, and thank you for joining me on my little corner of the internet where I just like to talk about movies. I just love them and like keeping the older movies alive and trying to introduce them to a younger generation that might not be familiar with them, even though I don't know if any young people even watch this channel. But hey, if one person stumbles upon this and this inspires them to watch some of these movies, it's a win for me. But it also, I just love talking about film, so I don't care if anybody watches, really. I mean, I have a really, really low subscriber account, and that's okay. It's building slowly. My goal this year is to get it to 500 subscribers by the end of this year. So if you want to subscribe to the channel if you haven't already and help me reach that goal, I would really appreciate it. And what also helps is when you like the video or when you comment. And I love your comments because I just like talking about movies, so I like the interaction with people that share what they like about the movies or what they hate about the movies that I'm talking about, because all valid points if you love or hate a movie. We all have movies that are classic movies that we just don't like, or vice versa, so that is okay too. So share me your thoughts of what you think of the movie Singing in the Rain. And if you have any other movies to suggest, I would love to hear your suggestions. I would also love to know what is your favorite movie or your list of favorite movies if you're anything like me and have trouble narrowing it down to the pinnacle of favorite movies. But thank you for watching, thank you for commenting, thank you for liking or subscribing the video, or if you just watched it, that is good too. I love it. But see you next time. Bye.